Welcome to the Positive Spiritual Living Podcast, brought to you by Unity on the Bay. This is your positive path for spiritual living.
And so, as I have mentioned before, the topic of tonight's talk is when the self comes alive. And that's the self with capital S. And I'm referring to our soul self. And there is a part of us that is existed before this physical body came to be and will continue to exist after this physical body passes away. That's the eternal aspect of ourselves. And there is a time in the life of the spiritual aspirant in which that part of him or her is revealed to him in its totality. And it would have been great if we could just snap our fingers and have the transformation take place in the blink of an eye. However, there is a process involved, and if we are familiar with the process, if we understand the process, we will be able to move through it a little bit faster and a little bit easier. And so before this process takes place, we have a very specific way of thinking and a very specific set of beliefs. But once that process is completed, we're going to have a completely different way of thinking and a completely different set of beliefs. To the world outside, we look like the same person, but inwardly, there is this dramatic change. And so this process is related to the renewal of our mind. Something takes place within ourselves that changes completely the way we see the world and the way we react to the world. One of the first things that begin to happen in this process is something known as purification. And purification often happens in times of crisis, when our whole world is crumbling around us. Therefore, every crisis brings with it a great opportunity. And so let me explain the importance of this purification phase of the process. The way we think and the way we feel create a specific vibration which will determine our auric field or our spiritual atmosphere. And so if we have the bad habit of constantly having thoughts of limitation, such as I'm not good enough, I don't have what it takes, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm not as intelligent as I wish I was, I don't have as much money in the bank, I don't have the green card, or perhaps we are having thoughts that we are angry with someone, that we are resented, that we have hatred in our hearts. We don't realize that, but when we abide in thoughts like that, what it does is, it's very similar to putting a very thick, dark cover on top of a lamp. So even though there's this beautiful lamp, that cover will prevent the lamp, the light, from shining through. That's why this process of purification is very important, because as long as we have this dark cloud upon ourselves, our true self can never come alive, can never introduce itself to us. So that cleansing process is very important. And what we can do to facilitate that process is to bring the light of our awareness back onto ourselves, to begin to pay attention what is it that is going on in our inner universe. It is very much like bringing a lamp into a dark room and begin to recognize the things that are there and begin to consciously choose, do I want to continue to hold on to these thoughts, or is it time to relax, to release, and to let go of them. So for example, if you catch yourself having limiting thoughts, like you are a failure, like you are not good enough, whatever it is, begin to learn how to reject them, because in reality, they do not represent the truth of who you are. Remember this, we have been created in the image and likeness of God. So those limiting thoughts and beliefs about ourselves, they are not truth. They do not represent the truth of who we are. And at one point in our spiritual evolution, we need to begin to look at them and begin to reject. Also, if you notice within yourself that you are angry with somebody or that you are resented with somebody, begin to work on clearing out the negative feeling and the negative vibration. For myself, I love to do Ho'oponopono, which is a great way to heal myself from any feeling of resentment that I may have with somebody else. But you can do whatever it is that works for you. The important thing is to recognize that those such a thoughts are holding you back and be willing to allow them to be cleansed from your consciousness and your subconsciousness as well. One of the important lessons that I learned from the book The Way of Mastery, which teaches us a pathway into attaining mastery of our lives, is that we have been created to be an extension of love. And when we allow ourselves to be an extension of love, we are actually being an extension of God. So the more love we express, the more compassion, the more benevolence, the more the desire we have to help other people, the faster will be this cleansing process in which we will be raising our vibration to a new level. Another important healing that needs to take place in this process is the healing of a feeling of being separate from God. And I know that when we enter the spiritual path, we are introduced to the idea that God is present within us. And we love that idea. However, at a subconscious level, we still believe that we are separate from God. And we can see that by the way that we react to the circumstances of life. If something bad happens, if our world falls apart and we begin to react in fear, we're not supposed to judge ourselves because that's normal. However, that's an indication that we are still operating from the standpoint that we are separate from God. We were created believing that we are separate from our good, that we are separate from the love that we seek, that we are separate from peace, that we are separate from security, that all those things are to be found outside of ourselves. However, it's very important that we begin to bring those things to the surface so we can heal them by reminding ourselves again and again and again that God is not only within ourselves, but closer than our own breathing. Meaning that the good that I seek outside of myself is within myself. The love that I seek outside of myself is within myself. The peace, the joy, the fulfillment, everything that we have spent all our lives looking for outside of ourselves, it's already fully present within ourselves. And as we continue with this healing and cleansing process, eventually we're going to be led to the door that separates the seeker to the one that has found. And the way that we cross that door from the seeker to the one that has found is by beginning to act as if we have already found in spite of the appearances. That's why in Scripture we hear, when you pray believing that you have received it, then it will be yours. That's why once again in the book, The Way of Mastery, he encourages us to spend 5 minutes every day embodying the sense that we are already awakened, that we are already a master, that part of us which is eternal have already come alive and it's living our life for us. And how we can do that? We can do that by using the power of our imagination. How would I react if I knew beyond any measure of a doubt that God is with me? How would I react if I knew that greater is that which is in me than that which is in the world? You will feel confidence, you will feel empowered, you will feel full of love and joy and peace. You would feel fulfilled. So use the power of your imagination to see yourself already experiencing that, and it will be yours. And so as we prepare ourselves to enter some time of meditation tonight, I'm going to encourage you to close your eyes for a moment and take a deep breath. And begin to bring your attention to your heart, relaxing all the muscles of your body, letting go of any doubt, letting go of any fear, rejoicing in the fact that there is something great about you waiting to be discovered. And it will reveal itself to you as you go back into an inner stillness, as you go back into filling your heart with love. The more love you express in your life, the closer you will be from experiencing this wonderful part of you. This part of you is all powerful. It's fearless. It feels itself to be relaxed and to be present right where God is. And so allow yourself to go deeper and deeper into a state of inner stillness and invite this presence, this aspect of ourself, to reveal itself to you. Begin to notice that your heart is filled with joy. There's so much peace in your heart right now. Begin to release any sense of unworthiness, any sense of lack and limitation, any resentment that you may be holding against someone. Allow a cleansing process to take place in your heart so that you can experience the freedom, the joy that is waiting for you. Within you, there is this pool of contentment. Allow yourself to relax in this pool of contentment. Allow yourself in all the cells of your body to experience a sense of cleansing and a sense of being uplifted. Begin to envision that all the cells of your body right now are radiating this beautiful light. It's a spiritual light, but it's a light that contains the fulfillment of all your needs. You no longer need to look for those things outside of you.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Positive Spiritual Living Podcast, brought to you by Unity on the Bay, a spiritual community located in Miami, Florida. Unity on the Bay is supported by the generosity of its community. If you'd like to make a donation or learn more about Unity on the Bay, please visit unityonthebay.org. You can also follow Unity on the Bay on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for even more positive spiritual inspiration. Until next time, thanks for listening and many blessings. Namaste.